Aloha once again, everybody. We are here live from Makaha Valley Country Club on this beautiful Sunday afternoon, and we have the privilege to be here with JPS head football coach at Waianae Intermediate, Waianae alum, travel team coach, and he also coaches for the Dash, and he's also a member of Koa'uka Band, uh, a great PJ Sports radio show. Welcome to Mr. Bronson Rosa.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, Bronson. You know, I have the pleasure to work with you every day and see, you know, how positive of a impact you are in this community. And with the JPS football team, you know, tell us a little bit about the player development for the 7th and 8th graders, where you want to get them, and just what the program is basically all about.
Mm-hmm. Well, originally, just a little history about how we got to where we're at right now with the program. Before the intermediate had their own program going, and I originally was coaching an outside program, Waianae Bulldogs, initially with the JPS, and our idea was always to bring the community together and stop separating our kids from creating all these organizations.
Right.
So Coach Tyler and I, you know, kind of put our heads together and came up with a way to keep our kids home.
Okay.
And the Junior Sea Rider program is basically our philosophy, the development, everything we do out there on that field is designed to help our kids succeed as a student athlete in Waianae and try to keep them home and finish school in Waianae.
Absolutely. Now, when you say a student athlete, of course, that's the most important part. And when we say player development, we're just not talking about developing people on the football team. We're talking about developing the class and also developing in the community. You know, so when you get the 7th and 8th graders, is your main objective is just to get them ready for JV and the next level?
That's part of it, but definitely not. We're looking at farther than that. College ready.
Absolutely.
We even go as far as saying B1 ready. And a lot has to do with their grade point average, being successful in a classroom. At a young age, they can be distracted early. We all know that.
Right.
It takes the parent support. It takes the kids' focus to get their work done.
Right.
And we hold a 2.5 GPA minimum to participate, and you cannot have any Fs or Ds. So, you know, it's a process. It's a learning process. A lot of the kids struggle in the beginning.
Right.
But because from 6th grade elementary come up to 7th grade, now I gotta make sure, you know, I do all my work and be accountable. But you know, we're there for that reason. We're there to help the community and help the kids realize that if they take care of their academics, you know, it's easier to transfer that onto the field and coach them up to be successful at the next level. But academics, attendance, just all the accountability stuff is very important to us.
Okay.
That's the number one.
Now, does it fall in line, Bronze? I mean, not picking kid for kid, but basically, you know, the kids who, you know, go to class, do the right things, are pretty much the ones who are easier to coach. I don't want to get off track and say that some kids are harder to coach, but basically, you know, the ones who are sticking with the curriculum and doing the right things, you know, how are they developing?
Yeah, like, to be honest, there's a lot of different, I guess you can say, level of athletes, athleticism that we take into our program.
Right.
Some never ever played before.
Right.
Never played no sports before at
Right.
all.
Right.
And it's their first season of tackle football at the JPS program.
Mhm.
The JPS league is a competitive.
Absolutely.
So it's a lot of work to get these kids ready. But in the classroom, what we find is those that are taking care of business in the classroom every week, handling their grades, and it's not an issue for them, that's the ones easier to coach, and they're ready to be developed.
Absolutely.
So, and they it's obvious. So we try to stress this to all the kids. Hey, take care of school first, and it'll help transpire onto the field. But at this young level, it's harder for them to understand.
Right,
You know,
right.
they forget their pads at home. Coach, I forgot my helmet.
Yeah.
Coach, you know, this stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's the age group that we're working with that it's our job to help develop them.
Okay.
And remember that if your equipment, your homework, everything, study hall, all this stuff is they learn here so that as they move up, they're more prepared to deal with that up there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, just switching gears for a minute. You also run a travel team, 7-on-7, and Waianae is known history, modern times. There's hammers all over.
Yeah.
And so when we start seeing the development of quarterbacks, and running backs, and people now in the, the, I guess you would call it, the ones who catch the ball and receiving the offensive guys, not just the O line and D line. Hawaii's starting to develop a lot of those guys, and on the mainland, going to college and stuff like that. How is the Waianae program keeping up with the RPOs and compared to the old school to new school? Is it a mix? What's going on?
Yeah, we're definitely trying to balance, not just be one-dimensional or even two-dimensional, but be able to do different things. And it's hard because it starts at the young level. You get a lot of these young athletes that they come to our program. We have a D3 division, which is the younger elementary kids. It goes from like 7 to 10-year-olds.
Right.
And it's starting there at tackle. But even before that, a lot of these kids are playing flag football.
Right.
So before flag football was like, that's, flag football, you got to play tackle. Now it seems that everybody's understanding that it plays a heavy role in developing. So with our travel team, it started out with the young kids playing flag. As they got older, the 7-on-7 leagues opened up. And I realized that, we didn't really have much teams entering those 7-on-7 and competitive leagues. So we started doing that, and this past year was our first year traveling.
Okay.
And then we went to the mainland and we entered a lot of 7-on-7 tournaments on there. And mind you, this is all Waianae boys.
Right.
I had my good friend, son, play with us. Shout out to Beramaka Kione. His son, Kiai, from Kamehameha, was a good friend, and ended up jumping on with us. But other than that, all our boys were from Waianae.
Okay.
And we're all part of the JV and varsity.
Okay. Now, what's the main emphasis on when you play the pylon and 7-on-7? I know it's the secondary against the receivers, but what are you really trying to stress as far as the quarterback just picking up coverages? If it's two safeties or one safety,
A lot of that, yes. A lot of reading. See, some coaches and some programs, they enter the 7-on-7 league, but then they try to run their a lot of them run their plays that they run during tackle.
Right.
And it's a little different, So it's more of a, to me, it's a platform to where we can showcase our athletes and let our athletes be athletes, more than running plays.
Right.
So we put them in position to win against matchups. Have the quarterback. You got to get rid of the ball in 4 seconds, all that stuff. So you got to read quick. Everybody's got to be on point, and we choose a few concepts that we work, passing concepts, and defensively, it's all about the pass. So like they can just honor the pass. You can run the ball, but defensively, it's more. This league that we enter in is all about the skill player.
Right.
The skill player showcasing their skill. So it's not where off season you come and let's go practice our tackle plays, tackle packages.
Right.
It's more like tailor make our concepts or our plays so that we can showcase our athletes. It's a league or a platform that I feel the athletes can really, like I said, showcase or let them be athletes.
Right.
And then you get individual efforts come up and so it's a unique, it's different. It all depends on how that coach uses that.
Right. So basically, you're trying to get your athletes, especially like you say, the skill athletes, see what they can do in one-on-one positions, seeing if they can beat their man, and also defensively, playing man-to-man defense and out of the zone, all that helps with the development of the secondary, the receivers, the quarterback, and the timing. Basically, how important is the 7-on-7 league, just as far as just timing and just getting into your rhythm. And
I think very important, especially if your offense calls for the offense that these players are going to go into is spreading the ball around or passing the ball around.
Right.
But just physically, you're competing against elite athletes at their position.
Right.
When we did it this past season, it was a lot of those 5-star recruits or a lot of these athletes that have been are already committed to colleges, Division I, and they're competing against them. So it's kind of like up your level kind of thing, and get to see the competitive rather than just in one dimension. Now you get we traveled to Vegas and we went to Maui and we won that tournament up there.
Okay.
And then we went to Vegas and hey, these guys in the mainland, they're the real deal. So
Right.
if you want to line up against real guys,
Right.
So we did all right there. We did pretty good there for our first year.
Okay.
And then yeah, these boys competed and really ended up being one of the top teams in the state.
Okay, now that leads me right into my next question. You know, what's the comparison between the mainland boys and our boys here in Hawaii? I know speed is just a little bit of it, but besides speed, what you think it is?
It's speed. I think the maturity and of course coaching. These guys been up there. They see a lot. They can go out there and play, and because they're in the mainland, they can play 10, 12 different tournaments in a season.
Right.
Because they just drive it.
Right.
Whereas us, we're gonna play the same teams unless we travel.
Right.
So it's kind of like they get to see the level of that high quality.
Yeah,
player.
just a higher level.
It's a higher level. Let's go to Texas, Dallas, or California, or wherever. But for us, we gotta fly out. Right?
Yeah.
But honestly, I'm gonna be honest. I mean, the Hawaii teams, the Hawaii players are very competitive now.
Absolutely.
I mean, very, very competitive. And when they go up there, they compete.
Absolutely, and we talked about that earlier, especially about the skills players from Hawaii starting to get recognition at UCF, Dylan Gabriel, of course Mackenzie Milton before that, Tua Tagovailoa. They're just all over the place now. You have Vavai Malapai running the ball at USC. And Hawaii is starting to develop skilled players. And how much of an impact do you think the 7-on-7 has on that for as far as development for those kids?
I think it's been happening even before it caught fire in Hawaii.
Yeah.
It's been happening. All these guys, all these athletes were attending those camps. And for me and a few of these coaches that we linked up and started this Waianae team, and it was because we got to catch up to what's happening.
Absolutely.
And that's all it was. And we took our cracks. We got our licks, in the beginning, but the boys developed and they got hungry, and then they turned the competition that they face every day and they upped their level, and that's how they were able to be successful. So it's all their effort. They were hungry. They wanted it.
Absolutely.
They wanted it, seeing it. All we did was provide them a platform to see and be part of the tournaments, and they looked around and like, hey, we can do this.
Absolutely.
We can do that. So
Yeah.
once they started believing, they kept working every day. And this was over a process of a year and a half before we traveled.
Absolutely.
They were down the park every week working, trying to get better, trying to get better.
Right.
Because you know how it is. In the 2 hours you got at high school or wherever you practice,
Right.
you're not going to develop into that player just into that 2 hours.
Right.
You got to put in the extra work on
Absolutely.
weekends after practicing. So these boys did it. And it's exciting because there's a lot more kids coming out, and we expect that our next travel team, we're probably gonna take 2 teams.
Right.
So.
And now all these boys, like you said, are Waianae, right?
Why not? It's not that we're trying to focus on our community.
Community, absolutely.
And we know that there's always a lot of talent where we come from.
Absolutely.
Waianae is one of the only places where, that shirt they had, rooted, not recruited.
Yeah.
Not to say anything about it, but our kids are from here.
Yeah.
They drink the same water we drink in Waianae, so.
Absolutely.
We trying to just give them one platform that they can come up and rise up to,
Okay. Now, you mentioned, it's not a 4-letter word, but recruiting is, that's tough, especially, from my point of view, personally, I just see so many kids leaving, and, it's really sad, and it's good to know that somebody like you is trying to keep the boys home, man. If you want to talk on the recruiting a little bit, just look right into the camera and let them have it.
I think it's a lot of it is parents really trying to do the best for their kids. They feel that at the time, the best option is outside for their child and their plan and a lot of guys moving to Vegas now and competing up there and joining leagues and getting looks out there, and they want the best for their child. They want to see them get an opportunity to get recruited at a college or get to learn the mainland way or the next level way. Yeah.
Right.
And what we're trying to do is just say if we can raise that level here in Waianae and be competitive and let these kids rise to the challenge and provide them a platform to do that, then maybe they don't have to look elsewhere. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And so like with this pylon team, some of the boys, they were struggling or whatnot, but you know they put in the work, they came to practice, and you know sometimes the stigma, you know, it's like you guys, this certain group of boys think they're too good or something like that.
Right.
But it really is those group of boys work their butts off every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for a year and a half.
Right, and now, I'm sorry, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, talk a little bit about that and a little bit of extra work that you guys do at the Pilau Park.
Yeah, so over a year and a half, we've been just working out there. It was just an open, whoever wants to come, you know, and then there was a group of boys started coming, and then some stopped coming, and then some came back, and then, but we always were there, just being the constant there, just whoever wants to work out, footwork drills, just stuff like that, some conditioning, but more technique stuff, and just big receivers coming, running routes, DBs, one-on-ones, all that stuff, and
Right.
just to work.
A lot of it's footwork.
A lot of it's footwork.
Now, speaking of footwork, man, you know, we had Kolu Sabagala with us a couple years ago when he was in the 8th grade, just killing it. And just a couple nights ago, you know, he broke Rico Rosario's record. I have nothing but love in my heart for both of those kids, Rico Rosario and Kolu. I coached them both. Coach Rico in baseball, but Kolu, I see the work personally that he puts in every single week. I've seen the work personally that he's put in for the last 2 years, and it's starting to pay off.
Yeah. So he came to our program, I think, what was it, 3-4 years ago?
Just 2 years ago.
Yeah, and he just busted his butt.
Yes.
Just busted his butt. I know him personally, and he's at the park at least 5 days a week in his early years, working with his dad.
Absolutely.
Working hard, and then when the pylon season came around, he's there, you know, even double that. So the boy puts in a lot of work, and he's one of those that I can say truthfully, this wasn't made overnight. This
Right.
wasn't made overnight.
Absolutely.
A lot of discipline, dedication, and it starts at home. And you know, the parents instill that in him, and he works hard. He's a young kid, but he got a good head on his shoulders. So I think moving forward, we just gotta continue to work, and as who knows what's gonna happen in his future.
Right.
But I know everything that does happen for him is because he put the work in.
Absolutely. And speaking of future, you know, Waianae has the tradition. Everybody knows when you wear that W, it doesn't matter what side of the island that you're on. It's automatic respect.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, what do you feel it's going to take for Waianae, you know, to get back to where they belong? Actually, you know, like you said, we're starting at 5th and 6th grade with the Division III and development of Division II and Division I. You know,
And the GPS, yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, I think I think just getting on the same page. To be honest, it takes we get the saying it takes a village to raise a kid.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So Waianae is a tight knit community, and I think we just have to come in and make the kids priority. Anytime you make the kids priority, and the reason why you do things is for the benefit of the kids, you can never go wrong.
Absolutely.
If no matter if it's difference of opinion or difference of philosophy or scheming or play calling, whatever it is, if you're trying to do what is right to get the best for the kids and to put them in the best position that they can succeed,
Absolutely.
then you can never go wrong. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And sometimes it's just a matter of having an open mind. You know, different guys been doing different things different ways for so long. Maybe just sitting at a round table, putting together information, having an open mind, and, you know, putting the kids first, right in the middle.
Absolutely.
And that's my philosophy. Is everything I do is for the kids.
Absolutely. And I can attest to that firsthand. You know, like I said, Bronson, I've worked with you side by side for the last couple of years, and I know where your heart is at, my man.
Appreciate that,
I really do. And you know, all I can say is, man, we just gotta stick to the program, stay steadfast, and develop these kids. And I think good things are going to happen.
I believe that 100%. Put them first.
Right on. Well, we come to another conclusion here at the PJ Sports Radio Show. Coach Bronson, it's my pleasure, man,
Thank
to
you.
interview you, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome job here. And, you know, just keep it up, man. You're on the right track, and I think Waianae football, the future of Waianae football looks bright, and you and Coach Tyler are definitely one of the reasons, man. I appreciate it. You have any shout-outs you want to give to anybody out there, go right ahead, man.
Oh, just like to shout out the Waianae high school football team, especially the senior class. Hey, way to hang in there, and you know, just fight to the end. And so proud of all you guys, and I wish you guys the best, and can't wait to watch you play on Saturdays in the mainland.
Absolutely. All right. Once again, Coach Bronson Rosa, my pleasure, sir.
Thank you.
Always good to have you here,
Always.
sir. Who we hold?